There's a simple ancient practice that can instantly dissolve your mental suffering and guide you towards awakening without you having to sit in silence for hours. And the truly beautiful thing about it is that in order to make this work, all you need is a single question, a 5 words practice that holds the secret key to quietly ending mental noise, anxiety, and the endless search for peace. So today I'm going to be sharing this process with you in 4 simple steps. It is far more direct and potent than traditional meditation. And the process that we're talking about here is none other than self-inquiry. And even if you have practiced self-inquiry before, you're going to be seeing this in a completely new light, which can make it even more easier for you to practice this in your daily life, not only while sitting down, but even while doing any kinds of activities. See, while most self-help techniques teaches you how to fight your thoughts, manage your stress, or choose a state of calm, self-inquiry does something completely radical. It makes us ask ourselves, who is the one who is aware of the noise in the first place? And just to give you a little idea about my own journey, I spent endless years treating meditation like another chore on my own self-improvement checklist. I'd sit down on a cushion trying to force my focus, calm my stress, or control my attention, and chase some elusive state of peace that exists out there. But trying to quiet the stress using the mind felt completely exhausting, like trying to smooth out turbulent water with your own bare hands. Processes like traditional meditation, although they're helpful in a lot of cases, they may train you to manage the storm, but it leaves the stressed person sitting in the middle of, and they may not be well equipped to handle those storms because they don't actually know who they are. The moment I tried self-inquiry though, the very things I had spent years desperately striving for happened completely on their own. First of all, there was effortless focus. Mental tension and overthinking started to drop without me needing to force myself to become quiet or struggle to concentrate. And second, there was an immense distance from stress, anxiety, and reactive feelings lost their grip simply because I was no longer tangled up with them. And I finally found myself falling into the state of unshakable peace, realizing that true clarity wasn't an outcome I had to earn, but simply what was left over when I stopped trying to manage or create certain experience. So you may be wondering, what exactly is self-inquiry? Self-inquiry is actually a very ancient practice that's rooted deeply in the traditions of Advaita Vedanta. Although it was shared more systematically by great sages like Adi Shankara, it was popularized in our more recent times by Saint Ramana Maharshi, who is one of the most revered spiritual masters of this modern times. Because at just 16 years old, while sitting alone in a room, Ramana Maharshi experienced a sudden overwhelming fear of death. But instead of panicking or seeking out for help, he did something that was completely surprising. Because in that moment of panic, he turned his attention inwards and started investigating within himself. And what he asked himself was, now that the death has come, what is it that dies? Am I this physical body that dies, or am I something more than that? And by inquiring directly into his own existence, he realized that while thoughts, feelings, and physical body come and go, the core of true awareness always remains untouched. And after that, he dedicated his entire life trying to understand our own true nature and share it with all the people around. And he spent the rest of his life guiding seekers not only with complex ritual or long meditation routines, but by pointing them directly back to this self-inquiry. At the core of this entire practice is the fundamental question, who am I? And if practiced correctly, as we are about to break it down right now, the struggle to control your mind simply dissolves, leaving you in a state of natural, effortless peace. So before I reveal these exact 4 steps, let me share with you this simple analogy to explain how this mechanism actually works. Because see, we live in this constant state of cosmic misidentification. Although we may believe to be this person who is existing in this point of time right now, we're something more and beyond that. And what you really are is awareness itself, and this is what self-inquiry is trying to point you towards. And think of your awareness like a sunlight streaming into a dark room. And when the light beam hits a floating particle, that tiny speck of dust suddenly glows like a bright star. And if you didn't know any better, you'd assume that this dust particle was generating light of its own. In this exact same way, your mind is constantly full of these floating dust particles made up of memories, identities, physical sensations, and temporary emotions. And when awareness shines on them, They flash with life, making you mistakenly assume that I am this person with this identity, memory, all this thought, all these sensations, all these feelings. You can even think that I'm the one who's anxious, I'm the one who's suffering, I'm the one who's sad, I'm the one who's fearful, because that is what happens with the assumed ego identity. For example, when an anxious thought pops up about tomorrow, about something that you need to do, your awareness lights it up with your attention, and you instantly start thinking that this is me thinking this is my stress, this is my anxiety. And what is critical to realize here is that you are not the dust particles glowing in the room, you are the sunlight that makes them visible in the first place. And self-inquiry is simply that act of tracing that beam of light back to its origin. So now let's actually walk through these 4 steps of self-inquiry. And even if you practice self-inquiry or Atma-Vichara before, pay close attention to why and how each step actually works and the subtle traps to avoid, because this is precisely where 90% of practitioners may get stuck. So the first step is to anchor, where we choose an object from our actual current experience to begin the inquiry. What we have to do here is anchor ourselves into any contents of our experience. It could be just noticing a passing thought, or an emotion, or sensation, or even sounds and sense perceptions, if that's more easier for you. And the purpose of step 1 is simple recognition, because you cannot turn your attention around if you don't know where it is usually stuck in the first place. No matter what you try to focus on, you can simply choose, for example, a thought and just rest as that thought. It is appearing, it is currently arising, and it is being seen. And here is what you must not do. Do not try to change, fix, or analyze whatever shows up. And do not try to judge yourself for not being able to focus on something particular. Just allow yourself to be there with enough patience and compassion, because no matter what shows up, it doesn't really matter. You can even focus on your breathing if that's more helpful. And do not try to judge yourself for overthinking, and do not fight the emotions that are present. Simply treat that thought or feeling or sensation as a signpost that says, okay, my attention is here right now. Now the second step is to pivot now. No matter what you are focused on, whether if it's a sound, a thought, or an emotion, simply keep it in your field of awareness and silently ask yourself, to whom does this arise, or what's the one that's noticing this? These 5-word questions act like a mirror that turns the flashlight of your attention completely around. And the moment you ask this question, a natural answer starts to arise, to me. And before you proceed any further, what you have to realize is that the entire point of this question is to instantly break your identification with the mind. And instead of being the stress or the anxiety or the feeling or the thought, you step back into the space of the one who's observing it. And the big trap to avoid here, do not answer this like an academic test. Don't mentally blurt out your personal name or repeat to me like a slogan, because this question isn't like an exam that you're trying to answer with your thinking mind. Because ultimately, whatever thought appears, we're trying to dissolve those as well. Because all the questions that we use in this process is like pointers that's trying to bring your attention back to the very source itself. Now the third step is of the direct strike, where we strike it directly using the question, who am I, or what am I? So as soon as you answer, what's the one noticing it, or to whom is this arising, what you have to do is ask yourself, who am I, or what am I? So in a sense, what we're trying to do is trying to figure out what is this thing that we consider ourselves to be me or I. Because as soon as you ask this, it turns your focus 180 degrees backwards, away from passing thought and directly into the observer. And whenever we do this, we don't try to answer this mentally. So without answering this mentally, we simply rest with the feeling or the sense of I that exists there. And if any thoughts appear, we can again ask ourselves, to whom is this thoughts arising? And when the answer comes me, you can ask yourself again, who is this me? Or who is this I? And when you do this, you almost get to this state of blankness, where there's definitely a sense of who you are, but it's not conceptual, it's not intellectual. You're not putting any thoughts to actually understand this, because any thoughts that arise is taking you back to the mind-body identification again. And here's the single biggest mistake people tend to make on this step. don't try to answer this with words or concepts, because if your mind responds with "I am pure consciousness" or "I am awareness," you have completely missed the target, because that statement is just another thought that's floating in the room. It's just like another dust particle that's appearing or rising there. Because what you're really looking for is that quiet source in which the words are actually forming. And right here, at this exact pivot point between asking who am I and actually resting in that space, is where most people hit a wall in their daily life and in their practices. And that's why I put together a free 5-day video course called the Direct Realization. I built this course entirely around the timeless self-inquiry teachings, giving you one short practical video lesson for exactly 5 days. And it's meant to cut through the dense philosophy to give you a practical map to clear out your mental confusion and stay anchored in direct presence. And it's completely free to join. And if you'd like to enroll, you can find the link for that in the description box below. And now this brings us to our final step, which is step 4, the abidance. So right after you ask yourself, who am I? Like I said, do not engage with any thoughts. Instead, try to see that where that thought is appearing, where all of those sensations, emotions, feelings are actually arising. And here you definitely need some experiential kind of practice, not some intellectual kind of thinking, because any kind of intellectual thinking cannot bring you there. You have to do it and see it in your own direct experience only. Because once this is done, you'll find yourself resting in the pure awareness itself. And this is where the effortless peace lives, not in a forced blank mind, but in a spaciousness, stillness that is observing the mind itself. And what you have to really avoid here is waiting around for some dramatic, mystical kind of fireworks show. True abidance is actually very subtle and it's very simple. There's just this subtle sense of peace that starts to really encompass your whole being. And there's not a lot of effort that's required for you to be here. So just rest in that quiet feeling of I am, and keep noticing if any other things arises. You can be like the witness that witnesses different things that's arising without judging, without fighting, without forcing to remove anything that's appearing. You simply abide as the knower of the experience itself. So before you go out to test this today, keep these 3 things in mind, because these can be traps that can keep you stuck. First thing is, don't practice it like a mantra. Repeating who am I or to whom is this arising 100 times like a robot totally defeats the purpose. The question is meant to pause the mind, but not to give it another chore. And second, don't expect your thoughts to vanish instantly. There are some other processes that can help you dissolve your thoughts, and you can find that video in our channel as well. But self-inquiry doesn't have to destroy thoughts right away. It simply starts destroying the power that thoughts have over you, because you start to see that thoughts are simply appearances arising and appearing in the awareness that you are. So let thoughts come and go like a background noise in a busy coffee shop while you remain seated as the quiet observer. And the third thing is that do not try to turn this into an philosophical or intellectual debate. Self-inquiry is a direct, living experience, so just look directly at the silent awareness in which everything is arising. And if it doesn't happen for you today, don't worry. Don't try to grasp it intellectually. Self-inquiry is not something that you need to lock yourself away on a cushion for hours to do. Once you get a grip of how to do this, you can practice it while sitting in traffic or waiting in line or working at desk. So try it right now with your eyes closed first and start testing it throughout your day. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to drop a comment down below and share your experience with other viewers who are currently watching this video as well. And if you'd like to take this journey further, don't forget to enroll in our free course, The Direct Realization, and you can find the link for that in the description box below. And with that, I want to wish you all the very best. Until next time, goodbye and namaste.